Hello, in this video I want to talk about the equipment tab. We're going to actually split this in two separate videos. For the first video we're just going to talk about the three buttons up top, register equipment, groups, and export. And the second video will actually go into the equipment page itself. We'll start with register equipment. You'll notice if you're US Connect or a My Vending Rewards user that your equipment will show up already registered in FMS. It will likely say it's offline until you turn the kiosk on and place it online. This is done so that you can activate your equipment immediately and get going. The only thing you'll need to do when you turn on that equipment and get it activated is associate a catalog with it. So I know I said I wasn't going to go into the equipment page, but just for an example, basically you'll go down to the product catalog right here. There's an edit pencil. If you have the catalog set, you'll be able to pull it from a drop-down list here or search for it. Once you attach that to the equipment, you're all set. For those of you using USAT, you'll use register equipment, and I suppose if you've deleted a piece of equipment, you might need to know this for the US Connect side. So we'll go in here, we'll go to equipment type in the register equipment page. If you're using a kiosk, these days you're going to be using kiosk revision 2. You notice if I click on the regular kiosk, it's a different hardware type. This is our original kiosk, but we've since moved to this version 2, which is slimmer, a little more mobile. That's the equipment type. Then you'll move down to the program, which is going to be USAT. If you were US Connect and you selected it, it would give you an automatic name, but you'll notice with USAT, it leaves the name field blank. This is where you create a name. You can use any naming convention you want. I recommend that you stick numeric, because if you chose to name the equipment after the location you were putting it in, if you were going to put it in the Lobster Shack, but then 6 months later you decided to put it at a shoe shop, you'd still have to keep the name Lobster Shack. So it makes more sense to name it something numeric and then just change the product catalog and the location as you go along, because this equipment name only needs to tie to the kiosk directly. It has nothing to do with the location or the catalog. Product catalog, you can choose it. If you don't have it yet, you can still hit save and create that equipment, and then you can assign the product catalog a little later like I showed you earlier. Groups, this is a big one. This is mostly used to see what groups you have created, both alert and ad groups. To see what you've created as far as alert groups and then advertisement groups. You'll see there's an ad group button here. This is for the notification/alert groups I was talking about. You go in here, you get to create the name, test setup, and then you'll get to select the equipment you want associated with it. You can select all, deselect all, select one piece, so on. If I hit save, now I've got a few new tabs that popped up. There's the notifications and there's the ads. Ads are going to be listed if you've assigned them to that group, but you can't assign them from here. Notifications is what I really want to speak on. This is where you create a group where you can notify yourself or your colleagues or the route drivers as to different activities that are going on with the kiosk. Notice that it starts as false, so you have to set it as true for it to actually be active. If you decide at some point you're getting too many emails or too many messages, you can set it to false and then reassess if you want. We go down here to add alert notification because there's nothing in the groups right now. You'll see we have a pretty big list of various alert types. I will provide a list of what all these mean, but for example, if the door's open, you can safely assume that the route driver got there. Of course, if you're seeing a ton of door opens, then that means that the door might be unlocked and people are opening it. Out of service is when people put it on the out of service screen, so on and so on. So let's say I want to know when an invalid barcode is scanned. I'll select that. Now I could have multiple alert types too, mind you. But let's just say, for argument's sake, I want to know when the invalid barcodes are scanned. I choose my frequency, which is I want to know immediately. I choose all the days. Maybe I don't want Sunday. I want to be notified all day long, though I could limit that if I wanted to. And then I put down my SMS. Let's see, can I do 555, 555, don't call me, or email contacts. So I've created that. But now, what if I just want to know daily how often the bill validator is referencing a cheated event? So maybe I only want to know that daily. So you see, I'm creating and building out the groups kind of a slow manner. Now I can assign multiple contacts, just comma separated, I believe. Or I could do email as well if I wanted. So these two are in my alert group. Now I can hit save, and I should, actually, according to this. Now it's enabled. My test setup group is enabled. Now I go back to equipment here, and I know that I assigned it to the Discover, and I can look in my groups, and I can see that the test setup group is selected. If I want to turn it off, I can turn it off. Again, I'd have to go back to the equipment and the groups to actually delete it. If I didn't like it, I could delete it. But so you see, you can create a variety of groups sent to you at a variety of frequencies. You could create multiple groups so that maybe your route drivers and techs on one side of your route area receive alerts for kiosks 1 through 5, and then your other route drivers and techs receive messages from your kiosks on the other side of town, 6 through 10. You can break it up however you want. You can be very specific. You can be very generic. It's all in your hands here. So that's why I wanted to go over this groups, as it is quite a bit. Export, that's just the ability to export your list of equipment. And that is equipment part 1. I'll see you in part 2 for the actual equipment page.